What's up, everyone? And welcome back to Body of Truth. I have to first start off by apologizing because I know it's been 6 months since I launched my first episode. And there is good reason for that, but I haven't been gone. If you thought I disappeared, maybe I was just becoming unforgettable. But let me take you back to 6 months ago when I launched my first episode. Because after the launch, I decided to celebrate by going to a Renee Rapp concert. Shout out to Renee Rapp. The concert was amazing. I had a lot of fun for the most part. I was wearing 4-inch heels at the concert. Cause y'all know me, I'm extra. And I needed to go to the bathroom after a couple margaritas. This is when I learned margaritas and heels don't mix. Shout out to the ladies, by the way. I feel your pain. Anyway, I twisted my ankle in the bathroom and I went flying and my rib cage broke my fall. Unfortunately, I ended up bruising my rib cage and I was bedridden for like a month. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work out. I couldn't go on live. I even had to skip Halloween. Like, my Halloween costume went to waste. But I ended up healing. I'm back and better than ever and freshly off the runway, which I'll come back to right now. After my ribcage healed, unfortunately, my former personal assistant unexpectedly quit. Although I wasn't surprised because this person was going through a lot and I really don't hold it against them. But production did stop because this person helped me set up my podcast. We did the cover shoot together. So shout out to this person. If you're watching, keep your head up. And on top of losing my personal assistant, the holidays came around and obviously people get busy around the holidays and I'm no exception. So I didn't really have time to figure out how to continue production. But luckily I have a new assistant, lovely. Shout out to my new assistant. We love her. And in between the holidays, I did get to see a couple legends in concert. Starting with, I saw Andre Day the day after Thanksgiving. She had a little Friendsgiving at the Blue Note, and it was intimate, it was beautiful. Her vocals were off the charts. I also got to see the legendary Miss Gladys Knight, which I could, go to heaven happy now. And in February, I saw Lizzo and Cardi B, and that was a lot of fun. While production was halted, I was definitely getting inspired, and sometimes healing looks like standing in an audience and watching a legend perform. But I was definitely inspired by all these legends. So March rolls around and I turned 34 on the 1st. And honestly, it didn't feel like I was getting older. It felt more like an arrival. Because around this time, I started getting emails from government management, shout out to government, about being in a fashion show for the Runway of Dreams at the Ability Expo in Long Beach at the end of March. Mind you, I have auditioned for a lot of roles, for commercials and plays, but this time they came to me and asked me if I would be in the show, and of course I had to say yes, and I got the job, and most of March was dedicated to preparing for the show. That meant working out every day at the gym, and it also meant keeping my diet right. And this is when my new personal assistant stepped in, and I thought I was preparing for a fashion show. But little did I know that I was preparing for my life and what my life was going to look like. Because this fashion show changed my life, and with my new assistant, I felt unstoppable. And I would do a separate episode on the fashion show and what happened behind the scenes. Hopefully, you'll get some models to come on the podcast and do some interviews. Shout out to all the models, and shout out to men this year who created Runway of Dreams and Garment Management. I will talk all about it in another episode, but just know that being on that runway changed my life. It definitely boosted my confidence. I didn't know it could be boosted even more. And like I told my therapist, I finally saw myself and I can no longer unsee it. I stepped into what I was called to do that weekend, and since then, I've been posting content. I've applied to a modeling agency, and I'm really trying to go pedal to the metal with this modeling career, which is why I'm continuing this podcast episode, because I know modeling is more than just wearing clothes and looking cute. It's also standing on what you believe and speaking out for your community. At least that's what it means for me. I'm glad that Garment and Runway of Dreams have given me a chance and allowed me to grow my platform and spread my message on a bigger scale. And speaking of growing platforms and visibility and being on the runway, that brings me to the actual topic of episode 2, which is visibility and disability. And with visibility comes opinions and apparently conspiracy theories. When I first started growing my platform on social media, I was aware that there were going to be bullies that were going to try to make fun of my disability and whatnot. I was prepared and I saw it coming. What I did not see coming is the hundreds, maybe thousands of comments of accusations of me faking my disability. And I was really confused for a good year because I have never had to defend my disability on this type of scale. I've had maybe 5 crackheads in my life come up to me accusing me that I don't need my wheelchair, but that's about it. But luckily people would come back and apologize after doing some research and looking at my content and, looking at my TED Talk and, which would allow for an open dialogue. And I quickly discovered that people had a hard time believing I had a disability because one, I'm cute, and two, because of my tattoos. I get the tattoo part, but we can't unpack what disability looks like and visibility. The truth is, disability doesn't have a face, and people tend to struggle when people with disabilities are attractive, stylish, successful, confident, because they think disability should always look like suffering. But the truth is that disability does not have a dress code, and we can live full lives. So people think that people with disabilities should be miserable, but sorry, I'm too cute to be miserable. So to read the receipts, a study in 2017 revealed that 72.9 of people with disabilities experience online harassment compared to 50.4% of people without disability. And Cornell researchers found that people with disabilities experience high levels of online harassment, which include mocking and accusations of faking their disability. But the truth is, visibility invites protection, and silence never protected anyone, which is why I have this podcast, and which is why I continue to speak out. So if people get uncomfortable because of my disability, good. Comfort never changed the culture anyway. The truth is, I'm a disabled body, I'm educated, I'm sexy, I'm smart, I'm dynamic, and I really don't need your pity. And I'm an inspiration, not because I survived, I'm an inspiration because I'm thriving and I'm doing it in style. So to all my disabled bodies out there, to all my queer disabled bodies out there, remember, visibility is power. It is not vanity. It's a survival tactic. And remember to own your own story before someone else does. Because the truth is, I was not disappearing. These past 6 months, I was becoming visible to myself first. So, thank you everyone for watching. I love you. Please like, subscribe, comment. You know what to do. Let's make this go viral. This was episode 2 of Body of Truth. Welcome back, everyone.